guys, it's Trina, and today I've got an awesome library haul for you guys. Awesome because I've got reading material for weeks, but probably not so awesome because how am I ever going to get through all of these books? I went a little bit crazy at the library, to be honest. I've got 16 things that I have recently checked out from the library. The first of those is Lois Lane Fallout by Gwenda Bond. I was so excited for this book. I put this on my spring TBR list, which by the way I've read like 2 books on that list, so pay no attention to the TBRs. I never picked it up. But then I saw Kale's Corner mention this and how much she loved it, and I was like, why have I been putting that book off? I need it. So I finally just bit the bullet and requested it from the library because why had I not done that before? And this is like a Superman story, but Lois Lane is the main protagonist, and it is while Lois is a teenager and some mystery is happening, I believe, and she meets a guy online and his screen name is Smallville Guy. And I love young Clark Kent stories. Like, I loved the show Smallville. I love the Superman origin story, so I cannot wait to read this one. The next one I picked up is A Daughter of Deep Silence by Carrie Ryan. This is like revenge plot with, I guess there's like 3 characters and only one of them is telling the truth. What? That whole unreliable narrator thing. I'm digging that, and I love a good revenge plot. And the other like super big release that I've been behind on is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a retelling of 1001 Nights, which I only have a small familiarity with, but I love retellings of things that aren't like the big 2 or 3 fairy tales that are always being retold. I believe it's about a king that marries a different bride every single day, and then she turns up dead the next morning, and the main character, one of her best friends, was the last bride who turned up dead. So our main character is going to go and marry the king, try to figure out what's happening, and get revenge for her dead friend. Sounds awesome. Have heard nothing but amazing things about it. Really, really looking forward to reading about that story. Just, yes. And then I have 5 books by Sarah Shepard, so I'm just going to kind of do all of these together, but you probably have seen these in my Cramathon TBR, which I slacked on doing my Cramathon wrap-up, so it's just going to be in my July monthly wrap-up. But I also picked up the last 4 books in the Pretty Little Liars series. Book 13, Crushed, Book 14, Deadly, Book 15, Toxic, and Book 16, Vicious. Even though I said I was planning to read all of these during Cramathon, I only read Crushed. But I am really wanting to finish up the Pretty Little Liars series finally this summer. Now, if you don't know what Pretty Little Liars is about, it is about 4 teenage girls whose best friend in 7th grade went missing, and then they start getting text messages a couple of years later from somebody that is kind of claiming to be their missing / maybe dead best friend. So they're basically being terrorized by her. Don't let the length of this series scare you off because there are 3 different story arcs. You've got books 1 through 4 that cover one story, 5 through 8 cover a totally new story arc and mystery, and then 9 through 16 are their own story too. And it's a lot different than the TV show. I think you could read the books and watch the show and there still are 2 totally separate mysteries. But when I finish this series, I will do a full series review, non-spoilery, to let you guys know what I thought of the series overall and who I would recommend it to. I did have a few people ask for that, and I am definitely planning to review all series that I finish. The next book I picked up from the library is another Sarah Shepard book, and that is The Good Girls, which is book number 2 in her Perfectionists series. It is another YA mystery that focuses around 5 high school girls who have all been bullied or tormented in some way by this one super popular guy. They're all from different cliques and they kind of come together to form a revenge plot, and they're casually talking about this brilliant plan on basically how to murder him, but they don't actually do it. But then he turns up dead in the exact way that they planned. So did somebody overhear their plot? Or maybe they aren't telling the truth and maybe they did do it. We don't know. But the amazing thing about this series is that it is only 2 books. This is the final book. Book 1, Book 2, you're done. It's not another 16 book series. Excited that this is just going to be a quick and easy wrap up to this new mystery that I've gotten into, because I can't put down a Sarah Shepherd mystery. I have to see them all out and I have to read every one of them. The next little section of this haul are just some cute contemporary summary reads. And the first of these is Second Helpings by Megan McCafferty. This is book number 2 in the Jessica Darling series, which I've talked about a few times now, so I won't go into too much details, but Jessica Darling is one of the earlier YA series. It did come out in the early 2000s, and it follows our main character, Jessica Darling, from her junior year of high school until she goes into college. I did really enjoy book 1. It was very nostalgic for me, so I think that if you went to high school in the early 2000s or really late 90s, you probably will connect with what's going on and just the things that are happening in high school. It was a really good high school feeling. I also grabbed The Fill-In Boyfriend by Cassie West. This is a YA contemporary about a girl who gets dumped on prom night before she walks into prom, and then it gets a guy like that she just meets in the parking lot to be her fill-in date. That sounds unbelievably corny, and yet I need to read that. It just sounds like a classic like 90s teen movie, and I want to see what happens. Are they gonna fall in love? I'm sure they are, but sometimes I like a little cutesy puff romance like that, and I've heard really good things about this book. So short, quick summary read. The other one I picked up is one I mentioned in my summer TBR, and it is The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Auchler. It is a contemporary retelling of The Little Mermaid, which that sounds really cool to me. Like, how are you gonna retell The Little Mermaid without mermaids? All I really know is that this main girl is like a singer and she loses her voice. I think she loses her voice in a boating accident. This sounds so odd, and I have no idea how this book is gonna pull it off. How are you gonna pull this off, book? I have to read you and find out, because that could either be epically great or epically bad. And the last few books I have to show you that I've gotten from the library recently are all graphic novels. And the first of those is This One Summer by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki. This is a story about two really young girls who vacation every summer at the same lake, and this one summer that they are there is some other like adult drama and older kid drama that's happening around that community, and they're just kind of observing it happen. I have already read this one. I read this for Cramathon, and I will be including fuller in-depth thoughts in my July wrap-up. And the last 3 things I picked up from the library recently are Saga volumes 2, 3, and 4. Again, I've already read these for Cramathon, and my full thoughts will be coming in my July wrap-up, but you can read my reviews on Goodreads if you don't want to wait. I did read volume 1 in June, and as I said in that review in my June wrap-up, I wasn't really sold on the series because it was just like gratuitous stuff happening. This is like a sci-fi graphic novel series set in space, set on other planets, a lot of different types of aliens and creatures and like robots and people and stuff like that, and it basically is a story of 2 star-crossed lovers from different planets that are on opposing sides of this big war that's been going on, and they have gotten married in secret and had a baby, and for whatever reason, like, one of the planet's royalty is trying to hunt down the baby. Sometimes I feel like these are a bit jumbled, a lot is going on without actual information being given, but by volume 3 and 4 I was hooked. I realized I'm really disappointed in these characters, which means I have to care about the characters and the choices that they are making. So I am sold on the series now that I've read all of them, but volumes 1 and 2 were difficult for me to get into. I've heard so many people say that they love them, that it's the best graphic novel like ever, but I do have issues and problems with a lot of the stuff that is happening and portrayed in this series, but overall I'm invested in the characters, so that happened, and I'm gonna keep reading it. But yeah, there you go. That's what I've recently checked out from my library and the things that I'm hoping to read soon, or some that I have read and will be showing up in my soon-to-come wrap-up. If you've read any of these, please let me know what you thought of them, or you can let me know what book you've most recently checked out from your library. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!